I know what you're thinking. What a mess. What a bloody mess. What did I do? Why did I do it? And why did I do it for so long? And I knew I wanted to stop, and I knew what I was doing was wrong, but something in me compelled me, and I know I'm selfish, and I know that this is unforgivable. Is that what you're saying right now? Are those the feelings that you're experiencing? Because they're justified, aren't they? You know that everything that you're saying to yourself right now is truth. But are you really telling yourself the real truth? Why did you do what you did? Why did you break the trust of the person you claim to love? Is that a question you want the answer to? Then please, let's hang out together. So, infidelity is something that is rampant, is not nothing new. This has been throughout the centuries, throughout the ages. Men and women have cheated on each other. And realize I said men and women because it's not just a gender issue. People cheat on each other. And they cheat on each other for whatever reason. I mean, on the internet, on YouTube, you see all the reasons why people cheat on each other. But I sincerely believe that the reason that people cheat on each other, especially in the marriage, is because, think about this, the person you married is not the same person that cheated on you, right? Or if you haven't come to that conclusion yet, the person you married, you didn't really pay attention and realize that somehow you guys were growing apart, or you didn't notice that this person was not as attentive, or this person was in their own world. It's like having children and not being aware that one of your children is using drugs, or one of your children is just acting out. It means that there's not a conscious awareness there. The conscious awareness does not change the fact that this person cheated or that this person broke your trust. What I'm talking about is the fact that when we marry people, when you get married, I think that people don't realize this. You change. The people within the relationship are changing daily, every single second. One person is growing or the other person is not growing. One person has changed their outlook on life, their views about life. Age has a hand in that. As you age, your opinions change, your views change. You're changing. You're rapidly changing. You don't come into the relationship and remain the same as when you met each other. You're growing up. The thing is, are you growing up together? Many people don't realize that the growth has to be synonymous. It should be something that both of you recognize, or one of you recognizes that it's not happening and informs the other person, hey, can we do these things together so we can grow together? The other thing that causes infidelity, in my opinion, is the fact that familiarity breeds contempt. How many of you are familiar with that? The more familiar you are with someone, the less likely you are to earn that person's respect, or you may see that person in a light that that person does not want you to see them in. How many marriages where the wives or the husband are like, you know what, I see this about you, I know this is about you, and the other person is like, how many of you respect your spouses? How many respect the people that you're in relationships with? Respect is something that can disintegrate if you don't pay attention. But the moment you notice that there's disrespect, you need to address it, because disrespect translates into distrust, or it will ultimately lead you to a point where there's a rift, and that's the brokenness in your relationship. So those are just two reasons, but that's not necessarily all the reasons why people break each other's trust. But the truth of the matter is that if you don't pay attention, you're not going to see it coming. And even if you do pay attention, because there's some people who are very vigilante almost in relationships, and they notice differences, and they stay on that person, and even if they stay on that person, the person can still break your trust somehow. The truth of the matter is that responsibility and accountability are the two words when trust is broken that need to be insurrected. Those things need to take root in your relationship. Both people need to be accountable for their own actions. Both people need to be responsible for the actions that have caused or resulted in the broken trust. It's not a one-sided occurrence. It's not a one-sided process. When you come to counseling, it shouldn't be the person that cheated on you that goes to get the counseling. It should be both of you, because both of you, if you're a unit, if it's a partnership, then in the partnership, it takes two, and it takes two to heal. The thing that was broken is not going to be fixed by one person. It's not one person's responsibility alone to make sure that a relationship gets back to where it wasn't when it was broken. We realize what I just said. The relationship wasn't really where it was supposed to be when the broken trust occurred. So at what point do you go back to? You go back to the point where you recognize that you do love each other, that you do want to salvage this thing, that you do want to understand the other person's motives and reasoning for doing what they did. So in that respect, it takes two. But I'm going to make part two of this video because I believe that there's a responsibility for both people. So the person who's broken the trust, you have to take responsibility for your action. You have to hold yourself accountable. You need to do the deep searching. You need to find out why you did what you did. And a lot of times that answer is not easy. Why did I cheat? I'm a man. That's what men are supposed to do. There's so many beautiful women in the world, or beautiful flowers, that I have to smell all the flowers. Or I was bored, or I was emotionally removed from the relationship. Regardless of the reasoning, you still have to take accountability. And you have to decide if this is where you need to be without going out and figuring it out. Because you went out, you cheated, you were still in this relationship, you came back, and you're still here. So did you really figure out why you did what you did and the reasons why you did it? So you have to take responsibility and accountability for your actions, and you need to start with yourself on a deep level, not on the level of asking questions and not having the answers, not on the level of saying, oh, I'm never going to do it again, not knowing if you will, because you don't know your own strength, or you don't know what factor led you to the cheating in the first place. Be honest, be truthful, tell the other person the truth. Even if you don't know what the truth is, start there. And let that person decide whether or not they want to work on this with you. It is not the end of the world. It's not something where you can lose your life for. If it was, you would have. I mean, there's some people could argue that you could lose your life, but there are people who are jealous, and there are people who have murderous thoughts, and people who may behave inappropriately to such an action. But the action that was committed is not one that requires death. It's not something that should have a death sentence. What needs to happen here is forgiveness. You have to forgive yourself. You have to forgive yourself, because without understanding why you want to forgive yourself, then there's nowhere to start. You can't hold on to the guilt of the moment. You can't hold on to the blame. And most of all, you cannot continue to lie to yourself. If you have a problem, you need help. If you have a problem, help is available. Just find out where you can go to get help and get it. Because this is about you, and this is about how it affects the other person. The other part of this is not as simple. The other part is that you have to have compassion, not just for yourself, but you have to be compassionate in this moment, because you have to realize that something that you did, an action that you performed, resulted in something being broken. And the something being broken is someone else's spirit. You broke someone's spirit. You wounded their spirit on a level where it will take time. And do not make promises that you cannot keep. A lot of people who have broken trust in a relationship, they make promises in the moment, fully understanding at some level, psychologically or not, that they do not intend to keep that promise. How many of us say things that we don't mean in the moment because it's the right thing to say right then, or is the thing that will get us off the hook? Don't do that. If you're being a grown-up, if you're mature enough to understand that your actions cause pain, then also be mature enough to understand that you have to tell the truth. Maybe it's not the inability to tell the truth is what got you here in the first place. So why not start there? Why not do it now? Don't be afraid. There's no time for fear right now. You've pushed past the level of fear. You've already entered into the lion's den. The lions are hungry. You're about to be mauled. Why be afraid now? At this point, when you had an opportunity to fix it. This is the place where you're supposed to be. This is the place where you found yourself. And because you're here, is a good place to start. Start with accountability, start with responsibility, and more importantly, start by telling the truth. You have nothing to lose right now. You may think you have something to lose, but you might lose everything if you refuse to be honest and truthful with yourself first. My name is Ingrid Felton. Thank you so very much for always visiting my YouTube channel. If you liked what you heard today, please subscribe to my channel. Also, like the video, that helps me a lot. I would love for you to refer other people and tell them to come and check me out. Also, visit my website at thejourneyoftruth.com. I would love to see you, love to talk to you more, find out what I do, reach out to me, and I'm looking forward to seeing you again. Bye.